that order, inverse order among the first 5 finishers. So just take that, flip it upside down, and you have the way they're going to start here. That's the way they do it in the World Cup to make it even more exciting for you.
Christelle is standing up there in the start trying to maintain her concentration, and she's looking down the hill wondering, is this course holding up? Did the salt take it? Will it be consistently hard all the way? She knows she's a very good skier. She's had excellent races so far this season, and she should like this slope.
Another factor here is a good American crowd on these slopes, and they'll be cheering Tamara McKinney as Christelle Guignard takes off on her first and second run.
Again, on top, the course is quite turny. It's back and forth. You can see as she angulates with her knees, tries to be quick from feet to go from across the hill to the next gate.
We're looking for the intermediate time now, which will tell us just exactly where she stands and will be the barometer. 19.3 is the time at the intermediate time for Guignard.
So it seems that this course is a little bit slower on top, more turns. It should be a good one, and the course seems that the...
Almost did lose it. Oh, that has to hurt you. Almost home, as you can see, the banner across the finish line for Christelle Guignard, and nothing doing. Did not finish.
That'll be a place to watch for the rest of these girls, as the course is quite turny up on top, and down here they're trying to let their skis go. The course flattens out. They want to go for speed. She just looks like she caught her edges a little bit on this tricky snow and got back on her skis.
We're looking now at Erica Hess, the defending World Cup champion, the overall champion. In 2 of the last 3 years, she has owned that title. Right now, you saw the standings earlier. She is in a battle with Tamara McKinney for first place in the slalom standings, and here she comes, a 23-year-old from Switzerland, a great skier.
She's out of the gate with some very good turns on top. She looks much more together than Guignard looked. She's such a solid skier that she knows her technique is good in any conditions, and she can just concentrate on going fast. However, on a course like this, you can't take those extra risks that's necessary to win. So she's trying, even though you can't let it go.
You're watching the Subaru World Cup Women's Slalom live from Park City, Utah, and this is Erica Hess bolting toward the finish line.
This looks like she had a very solid run. It's not one of those spectacular runs, I don't think, and it's nothing that Tamara McKinney cannot beat.
1:17:30, the combined time for Erica Hess. So right now, that is the standard because of the first skier down. Guignard fell. Here is Tamara McKinney. The time to beat, 1:17:30. Tamara McKinney trying to lock up the Women's Slalom Championship for the 2nd year in a row. She almost lost it there.
Yeah, that was a little bit of a mistake. She's trying to run a little bit straight where Hess was rounder and cleaner. However, down here on the bottom, Tamara is, as I said on the first run, the queen of the shins. She can take the gates off right there above the ankles and run a straighter line.
The crowd is really into this one. Tamara McKinney, you have to breathe deep here because she had trouble at the beginning of the year with falling. But here she comes, heading toward the finish line.
It looks to me like she's having a very good run. Tamara's deceptive to watch because she's so smooth you can't tell how fast she's going.
Tamara McKinney just
third to the last gate. It looks like she just caught her edge a little bit and hooked up a gate. That's too bad for Tamara.
Oh, how close can you get? No time, you see there. There won't be anything necessary. Tamara McKinney doing almost the same thing, only much further on than Guignard. Look how close she is to the finish line.
That was 3 gates from the finish, and it looks to me like she just hooked her tip on that third to last gate. There's still another slalom race for Tamara at Heavenly Valley, and she still can wrap up this title if she wins.
So this, Cindy, could open the doors for Erica Hess to gain some valuable ground on Tamara McKinney right there, as McKinney is a DNF, and Hess is the only skier of the first 3 who has a time. That time is 1:17:30. In the gate now and ready to go from Italy, Maria Rosa Quario. She needs a time of 40.23 on this run to move into first place past Erica Hess, and here she goes.
She's a very good skier, quite quick from foot to foot. As you can see, her tails of her skis get further away from the gates, consequently breaking her speed. But she's so quick that on a steep hill she can do this and still have a fast run. It looks solid so far.
Erica Hess with an intermediate time of 19:17. We'll try and pick these up if we can for Maria Rosa Quario.
She's having a smooth run here. Her Upper body's a little bit wild, but her skis seem to be tracking pretty well.
She has to be thinking of what happened to the others at the finish line, or near there anyway.
Let's give her some help now.
And she does make it all the way. So Quario will have a time. The time to beat 1:17:30. And her time 1:17:49. So Erica Hess remains in first place here in the women's slalom. Second and decisive run at Park City. That was close.
That was very close.
Well, out of the gate next will come the first round leader, Paletta Magoni of Italy, the Olympic gold medalist in 1984.
She's come on pretty strong this season, but not to glory like she would have liked.
A bronze in the World Championships this year, but that has been the biggest thing she has had to shout about. She is fifth. Oops, and there she goes. And Erica Hess is looking much better as Paletta Magoni goes tumbling down the mountain here at Park City, Utah, and this is becoming the story. It was the story of the first round, and so far it has claimed 3 skiers here in the second round.
That's too bad for Pauletta, but as you can see, the snow's quite tricky here, and if you get too far to the inside, your boots rub on the snow and knock your feet out from underneath you. It's not as grippy snow as it was in the first round because they did add chemicals, so it's a little bit icy.
Once again, attrition is playing a major role in this second run of the women's slalom. We'll get back to the competition from Park City, Utah. Land of France waiting to come out of the gates here. She finished 6th in the first run, which was held this morning, and 3 of the first 5, which is the story of the afternoon run, have not made it to the finish line. DNF did not finish. The 3 letters, I guess you'd have to say, that every skier fears most, Cindy.
She's the gold medalist from our World Championship slalom, and she knows she can do quite well on this slope. She's a great technical skier, and now with Hess leading and Quario in second, I think she probably feels she has a great chance to move up.
She needs a time of 40.12 to overtake Erica Hess in first place. Palan, a veteran.
She's running a very tight line, but seems to be holding a little bit long. So you can tell how technically strong she is, and that she gets down low on her skis and goes from gate to gate with her feet quite quickly.
A great skier. 1984, she won the silver medal in the slalom, the bronze in the giant slalom, and here she is now trying to capture this slalom race, the second of to the end of the season here in the World Cup competition. As Tamara McKinney is out of it, Erica Hess in the lead, threatening to gain some valuable points on the point leader, Tamara McKinney, and here is Palan crossing the finish line. That is a self-accomplishment. She needed 40.12. She had a time of 40.24, just under the time needed. She edges ahead of Maria Rosa Quario, but is just a fraction, actually a 1/10 of a second behind the leader, Erica Hess. So Hess hangs on. And the excitement continues to build now, and the added ingredient is the course itself.
It looks like about in the third gate that they're having a little bit of a breakaway. The snow seems to be breaking a bit. I could tell on Perrine's skis that they slid off from out from underneath her. The girls will be watching that from the start, and they'll know what they have to do to ski around that little hole.
Małgorzata Talka of Poland, skiing here with her twin sister right behind her, a couple of positions on the starting point. Here she is, 21-year-old, currently 16th in the slalom standings on the World Cup circuit.
You can tell she's trying to run a very straight line, and on this steep hill, it's so difficult to do that. It actually slows you down. So if she makes it through the top, as she has, and comes down here to straighten out the lower part of the course, she could have a very fast time.
What is required of her is a run of 40.08 to surpass Erica Hess, our leader, here in the second run at Park City.
You can tell how she straightens out the gates when she hits them there with her left arm. Oh, she lost her pole for a sec.
Coming to the finish line out of the flats with a time of 41.10, so that will not be good enough to overtake Erica Hess. And Tamara McKinney has to be thinking, as she's watching here, would somebody please come along and bump off Erica Hess? Of course, they've been doing that over the course of the last 3 years, as they have between them shared 3 World Cup titles. Hess 2 and McKinney 1. McKinney's coming in 1983.
This is Ursula Konzett from Liechtenstein. She skis now without a coach. She always is good in World Championships and Olympic Games. She has quite a few medals to her name, but she has an unorthodox style. By watching her, the hill just got the best of her.
Once again, the 4th skier to be taken by the hill on this second run. Ursula Konzett of Liechtenstein out of the competition. And again, that has to play a little bit with the minds of those waiting.
She's trying to run very straight here, but leaned in a little bit and caught the icy snow on her boot, and it pushed her out of the course.
We will now await the run of the other half of the Talca.
All right, the other half of the Talca family, the twin sister Dorota now. Told you she was right behind her sister. So she is holding up the family name right now. Her sister
in the World Championships slaloms in Bormio and 6th in the Olympics.
Unable to take over Erica Hess. Here comes Dorota out of the gate.
It will be difficult for Dorota to overtake Erica Hess because of their... Oh, she had problems again in that same gate up there.
Absolutely. This course is becoming more treacherous than it was at the beginning, and it was no piece of cake there.
You see, Pete, we have seldom have courses this steep for women, so it's unusual for us to ski down and have to go so round on the gates. They want to run straight at everything and go as fast as they can, but the slope makes you ski around the gates.
Right now, while we have a break in the runs, let's go down to Andy Mill with, I'm sure, a very disappointed Tamara McKinney.
Tamara, you went out just shortly before the finish. What happened up there?
I guess I just saw the finish. It was just 3 gates up from it. I just hooked a tip.
You were six tenths of a second behind the leaders going into the second run. Were you doing some extra pushing, some extra efforts that you would normally?
Yeah, and I made some mistakes on the top both runs, really. And so I knew I had some time to make up on the bottom. And I felt like I skied well the last half of the course and just went a little too straight in the last third to last gate.
Well, if Erica Hess ends up winning this event today, which looks like she might because of everybody, the course, everybody going out, she's going to move slightly ahead in the overall World Cup slalom standings. What will you be thinking going into Heavenly now?
I'm just going to try to finish up well. This was kind of a bummer today, but I feel like I'm skiing well in slalom, and it's close to my home at Heavenly Valley, where the final slalom is, so I'll feel good.
Well, we'd love to see you win 2 in a row. Thanks a lot, Tamara. Hang in there.
Thanks.
Back to you, Pete.
All right, thank you, Andy. And if Erica Hess does come up with a win, she will pick up 14 points and go 5 points ahead of Tamara McKinney as we look at Roswitha Steiner on her second run.
Roswitha is really the leader of the Austrian slalom team. However, she's had a difficult time yet this season to produce the good results that she's capable of. Her teammate Annie Kronbichler, she's out. She straddled a gate there, and that's a disqualification.
And the beat goes on. The time of 1:17:30 of Erica Hess seems almost too safe right now as the skiers having a horrible time negotiating this hill here at Park City. We've got a lot more coming your way. Can somebody hill here and preparing for the World Cup as we look at Maria Epple next to come out from West Germany.
She's an excellent slalom skier and has acquired a new style, which is much more how the men ski. She skis with a very square-up body and attacks each gate.
The voice you're hearing is that of Cindy Nelson, 4 times an Olympian, a current member for, a couple of days anyway, of the U.S. ski team. For 14 years she has held forth there, and watching Maria Epple, another veteran of 26 years, and she will be the senior citizen when Cindy departs.
She has a 7th intermediate time. It's a little bit shaky for her on top. Generally, she skis better on the steeper parts of the course. On the first run, however, she had problems where the gates hit her in the face and caused her to have a bloody nose. So here she is coming to the finish now with a time of 41.91. That moves her into 5th position, I believe.
But as you can see, the time of
for her second run time.
1:19, that is 2 seconds behind the leader. Erica Hess of Switzerland looking to gain some ground on Tamara McKinney as Tamara, 3 gates from the finish, caught a tip, and that was it. Up next is Corinne Schmidhauser of Switzerland, another of the tremendous Swiss skiers. They are just absolutely loaded, one after another. What depth.
They have so many young skiers, and they come out of nowhere. Every year and we see a new one. You've never heard of them before, and they'll come onto the World Cup, as Corinne has, with very good results. She made a little mistake there, and that's going to cost her some time, but she's fighting her way right on down through the course. It's not an easy course to negotiate. All the girls are having a difficult time. They aren't skiing as well as they would like to.
19:17 was the intermediate time to beat. She was not anywhere near that. So Erica Hess can breathe a little deeper now.
I think Corinne will be just happy to finish this. She won't be happy to be very far away from the winners, but to complete both courses on this steep hill is quite an accomplishment.
You saw she needed a 39.07 to take over the lead. Did not get it. 41.24 for Schmidhauser. And that puts her in 5th position ahead of Maria Epple. Right now, the standings, as you look at Corinne Schmidhauser, currently 5th. Erica Hess is your leader. Perrine Polan is 2nd. Maria Rosa Quario is 3rd. While Gozada Talka is 4th. Corey Schmidhauser, they're in 5th position. And so many have not finished, including Tamara McKinney.
This is Ida Ladstatter, one of the young Austrian skiers. She's a good slalom skier, but she has a difficult time completing 2 runs. Looks like today is probably one of the best days on the World Cup for her this year. She attacks the course.
She will
Getting
not
a
be alone
little
if she doesn't
trouble
make it.
there. She gets a little bit behind herself because she's trying to run too straight at the gates. These girls have to see that they have to go around them, even though they are breakaway gates, and you can usually ski almost over the top.
Intermediate time was better than the 2nd behind Erica Hess. Pretty good run here, though. Looking up for Landstatter.
Yes, I think this is really good for her down here. She's probably worried about not completing the course, and here she is
How
completing
about
the
that?
most difficult one of the season.
So a 2nd over it, a 2nd and a half or better for Landstatter, but certainly that puts her into the number 5 position as she goes ahead of Schmidhauser. Corinne Schmidhauser drops to 6th.
I think Ida will be very happy for that run. It's a good place to be in.
We're looking now at Annie Kronbeckler of Australia, another one of the Australian skiers, the big Austrian skier. Whoops, caught a tip.
That's too bad for Annie. She's this hill is a little bit steep for her. She's quite a tall girl and prefers the flatter slopes. To have completed the first run was good for her, but yet here on the 2nd run she looked good.
Being a tall skier, she's almost 6 feet tall. You can see the problems.
Yeah, it's a little bit of a disadvantage to be quite so tall on a steep slope where you prefer to be lower to the ground and quick with your legs.
Well, you can hear the crowd starting to build to a crescendo because that is Eva Tordokens, and she is really the last chance that America has of doing anything here in the slalom competition.
Eva's going to be going for broke here. She's quite a fighter. She's a really aggressive skier, and she wasn't too happy with her first run. So I think if Eva puts together a run without mistakes, it could be one of the fastest 2nd runs of the day.
She needs a time of 30.84, and, well, she hung it together, but that is going to absolutely finish her in terms of trying to top Erica Hess. We'll watch the intermediate time, but it is really academic.
When you make a mistake like that and you're so hungry to race and you get back into the course, then you know you have nothing to lose. She's going for broke down here on the bottom and skiing very, very well. She's one of our best young talents in that she can ski all 3 events, slalom, giant slalom, and downhill. So I think we got lots to look for out of Eva Tordokens in the future.
A 19-year-old from Reno, Nevada, her 4th year on the national team. And listen to the crowd here at Park City, bringing her home despite the air at the top. And there is her time, very decent considering what happened to her. So despite not the best run in the world, Eva Tordokens has excited this crowd because they like the courage she showed in hanging in there and staying with it. Right now, we are going to take a pause, and we're only 12 of 23 skiers so far have made it to the finish line. Erica Hess has made it there the fastest with a time of 1:17:30, and you're looking now at Sherry Ahola of the United States from Gladstone, Michigan, and, well, make it 13.
The girls are really having a difficult time with the course today. Sherry just became a victim of the deterioration, and her skis got slid out, and then she straddled the next gate.
So where they have all had the problem, the same goes with Sherry Ahola of the United States. The remaining skiers all from the United States here, so the crowd, well, they could almost tell you that because every time a U.S. skier has come down, it gets quite noisy here. A lot of folks up on the hillside behind the 10,000 feet of fencing that has gone up here for this competition on what is naturally a giant slalom run here on this course converted into a slalom run for this competition. Linda McGeehee of Boulder, Colorado, 20-year-old up-and-coming skier.
Linda's had a difficult time getting her season going, and again, the same gate got her as it did get Sherry Ahola. That's too bad. I think most of the girls up there understand that the course is in difficult conditions and see it as you're seeing it, but you don't think about that when you're standing the start. You just want to race as fast as you can on the way down.
Now you will hear them shortly because Tori Pillinger is from right here in Park City, Utah. The 17-year-old American girl trying to make 2 runs here. Erica Hess is your leader, followed by Perrine Palan, and that seems to be, oh, there goes Tori. So the disappointment of the folks, I'm certain, is echoed by the fact that Tori isn't feeling any better herself. All right, let's go down now to the finish line. Christine Hansen is standing by with appears to be our winner here at the last skier down the course. And it is Heidi Dahlgren of the United States, who had a first run time of 42:22. You see the time that she would have to ski to take Erica Hess, 35:08. It is hardly unlikely, but the crowd here still getting into it anyway because an American girl has finished. So that's the story. Our last skier is across the line. Erica Hess is our winner. Perrine Palan will be back to wrap it up right after this. Here at Park City, Utah. Remember to join us tomorrow for the men's slalom. For everybody, Cindy Nelson, Christine Hansen, Andy Mills, so long from Park City, Utah.